From here, begin to integrate full breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. Reach your knees apart and feel the shin bones reach down toward the ground. As you take your next breath in, expand the ribs broadly to the sides of the room. And then we begin to twist to the right, place fingerprints down, and the action here is to twist on the exhale and then untwist and release. Twist and untwist. And as you do this, when you twist to the right, reach the left knee, that's the trailing knee, away and down. So at a certain point, you start to feel the hip on the left side begin to activate. And then seated side bend. This is a variation. So my right hand reaches out to the right, left hand on inner thigh, and then I begin to twist and untwist. So as I twist up, inhale, and as I relax down, pull with the right hand, press with the left hand. And you can be twisting and untwisting and not necessarily matching my flow. Continue to reach the knees apart, take deep breaths in, deep breaths out. Come back to center, just raise the right arm on this side and turn the chest to the left. Even lean the head to the left and begin to coil the right arm. And feel for an energetic release from shoulder through elbow through wrist, even through the fingerprints. And then from here, take index finger, middle finger, reach the right leg out to the right, left heel comes in toward pelvis. And in a similar fashion, you're going to turn the chest to the left, and you'll notice that I'm rotating the right arm. So elbow up, elbow down. Totally relax the right arm, except for the right fingertips. And press through the right heel, so the right leg is extending. And as I twist and untwist, now you'll notice that I'm twisting the torso left with left hand on thigh. So it's a complex movement. And then sit back onto a block, come back into Siddhasana, reestablish the seat, take a breath in, full breath out. Something I like to do here is to place one hand on side of face, and this brings a certain awareness, and I might even place my palm over my ear to close off some of the sound, and it starts to activate a certain type of awareness on one side of the body. And then we move into the second side, so fingertips frame the left thigh, left leg, and I twist and untwist. Be mindful here to lean the left sit bone down into the block. And as we twist, the trailing knee, the right knee in this case, reaches away. Right knee reaches away from right hip. Right knee reaches down with the shin. And then take that seated side bend with twist. As you inhale, turn the belly up. And as you exhale, pull with the left hand, press with the right hand. Continue to twist up and relax down. And then take a seat. This time take the block out. Take 2 fingers. And then we stretch the left arm by extending the left leg out to the left. And then twist and untwist the arm. You have certain lines of fascia. There's a superficial line and a deep line both on the front and the back side of the arm connecting into the torso. And now as you twist the arm, you can also twist the chest to the right. So you're twisting, and when you untwist, left elbow spins up. So now you can see it all together. Twisting heart to the right, And then as I release the twist, the left elbow, floats upward. Come back to center. Place block under the seat. And then raise the left arm. Turn the heart away. And begin to coil the left arm. And then from here, come up off of the block. Place the block to the side. Straighten the legs out. Shake the legs out. And then bend the knees and wrap the arms around the shins. My feet float off of the mat. Reach the knees apart. Reach the feet apart. And feel for the bones of the thighs reaching forward. And all the while maintain straight spine. Take peace fingers, hold right big toe and extend right leg. Turn the pelvis, turn the belly, turn the head to the left. Then as you're here, you can float the foot, lower the heel, tap the ground, lift the leg back up. 2, 3, and this time 4, lift up. 5, and 6. And then hook the fingers around the big toe again. Reach the right heel and right knee up away from right hip. I can place blocks down and then float the hips up. And then we switch sides. So now I'm going to hold the opposite wrist. And as I reach knees apart, I can also decompress the wrist here. Keep the neck released, open. And then hook the big toe on the left side. Turn the belly to the left. Initiate this turn of the belly from twisting pelvis to the right. And then we're going to lower and lift the leg. So as I do this and I reach the heel up to sky, you will start to feel the quadricep and hip flexor begin to activate. And then hook the big toe. Turn the belly to the right. Lift the heart up. And then take blocks. This is optional. You can float the hips up, reach the hips forward, and set them back down. Come back to center. This time we have feet up, knees reach apart. I'm going to take middle finger and ring finger on the right side. Turn the belly to the left, turn the pelvis to the left. And then when you're ready, float the foot. This time keep the foot floating. Place hands down or on blocks and float the hips up. We'll get that other side in. So middle finger, ring finger holds the big toe. Float the heel and the left knee away from left hip as you turn belly to the right. When you're ready, foot floats. Position the blocks. So from here we get a pretty intentional activation of the quadricep on the left. And then we come back to center, slide the blocks back. This time you're going to take peace fingers again on both big toes and then extend out. So we have a really wide reaching of the knees apart, reaching of the heels apart. Ensure that the neck is released, and then you can start to sway a little here, side to side. Might be a little sway at first, and then lean to the right. Reach the left heel up and away from left hip. And then come back to center, and you guessed it, lean to the left. See, can you get that left thigh and leg closer to the ground? Reach right heel up. Worst thing that's going to happen here is you fall back and fall over. Then you just reset. We come back to center, and then release. Just in case, I'm going to put some blocks up ahead of me. And then I'm going to move into this funky version of Pigeon, and you'll notice the crook of my left elbow is underneath the heel. And then as I twist and untwist, I can start with the twisting of the spine alone, and then I can lift the left elbow in this case. And while you can't see my left leg, my leg is zigzagged, so I'm leaning onto the right hip slightly. And as I twist and untwist, lifting the elbow, lifting the heel, I can start to build strength on the outer part of my ankle on the right side. And then I'm going to bring left elbow cross laterally over and then twist and untwist. If you can't get the elbow across the thigh, then you may also place the elbow in the center of the mat. Right hand is positioned down, helping me twist. And then I'm going to switch sides. This time, if I can get my tricep on the inner arch of my right foot, it's not a twisting on this side, it's a leaning, kind of a rocking action side to side. Just be mindful that the right toes are flexed back to the shin, especially the pinky toe. So there's no pressure on the right knee. Come back to center and start by holding the blade edge of the foot and rocking the foot and the thigh side to side. And now we have a little decompress for the wrist. So hold the wrist on the outer blade edge of the right foot, and then I can extend my right leg up to sky as much as I want to. Knee can be totally bent here. And the action then is to either come back to the way you were swaying the hip a moment ago, or cradle the lower leg, and then engage the toes, flex them back. You can do that manually. And I'm going to hold the ankle and twist the thigh, rotate it out, and then let it release. Rotate it out and let it release. So with the toes flexed, there'll be no pressure and no torque on the knee here. I'm isolating an opening of the fascia, the connective tissue in the right hip. And then straighten the legs out in front of you. You can use blocks for this. Okay, so you can place blocks down to extend the arms, or place hands down. Press down, lift hips, lift feet, cross the legs, chaturanga, press back, downward facing dog. If that's not there yet, you can also simply walk back to downward facing dog. And then I'm going to lift my left foot. I have the tip of my big toe on the ground on the left foot. And I'm going to reach the right heel down to the ground. So I'm going for a very intentional opening of the fascia in the backside of the right calf. So from here, feel sits bones float up to the sky. And with every exhale, let the right heel move or energetically reach down to the ground. And it's a little micro movement. You may not see it, but I'm inching my right heel back to the point where it just lifts up off of the ground a tiny bit. If I get there, then I can work on rocking the hips a little bit. And then both feet are flat, lift the right hand up. So now I feel more weight go into my left hand and my left arm starts to engage. Come back to center, take a breath in, and then come to a plank. Lift the left hand up. So we'll do this on both sides. And then shift weight over. You can do a little rocking side to side, and then either come to fingertips of right hand or float right hand. You'll notice that I'm maintaining one straight plank of the body. If the hips float up, see if you can bring the hips down slightly. Back to center. And then I'm going to do a low push-up, high push-up, downward facing dog. And then you can step or hop all the way to a seat. Straighten the legs out in front of you. Scoot yourself back, and then we'll move into the second side for that pigeon series. So to start, the left heel is under the crook of my right elbow. Left hand is down, and I'm just twisting, starting with the twisting of the spine as my heart reaches up, and then I can start to lift the right elbow and subsequently lift the right heel. Right toes, especially that pinky toe side, are flexed and are down. Right elbow comes to the left. And then we're back into that twisting action. This time, as I inhale, or as I exhale, I can twist up to the left. If you have high blood pressure, I highly encourage you to exhale and twist up to the left. After a few twisting, untwisting, cyclical actions, then Bring the left elbow over into the crook of, or the arch of the left foot. And then I'm back to that rocking action, rocking side to side. Again, you can't see the back leg so much. The right leg is zigzagged, so I'm on my left hip. And then come back to center and hold the blade edge of the foot. You can manually flex the pinky toe back here. Begin to rock or sway the hip and leg. And then decompress the wrist by holding the wrist onto the outer blade edge of the foot. You'll notice here that I can also start to turn my belly away from the straight leg. And then you can rock side to side. You can go with the previous version or place the arch of the left foot into the right elbow. Again, see that the toes are flexed back. They are active. And then from here, I'm going to externally rotate the left femur, the upper leg bone, and then relax it. And rotate it and relax it. So we're pinpointing left hip and some of the tighter connective tissues that are around the hip. And then from here, you can come into a cross-leg position. I would not suggest this position, Padmasana, unless you can close the outer ankles. And then we're going to press and lift. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 90, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 100. And then remove the blocks and shake the arms out. Release the legs out front. And then, again, you could use blocks for this or lengthen the front line of the body. The other option is to press hands down, cross the legs, chaturanga, press back, downward facing dog. And then in downward facing dog, we're going to stretch the back of the left leg. So come to the tip of the right big toe. Right foot is very, very light. And then if you can here, lift the toes of the left foot up. Float the sits bones up. And then on your exhale, reach the left heel down toward the ground. Come back to center. Downward facing dog. And then lift the right hand again. Lift the left foot. Float both an inch or two off of the ground. And keep floating the hips skyward. Place hand and foot down and then float the left hand and the right foot. Keep hips lifting up to sky. And keep taking intentional breaths in and out. Plank. Knees can be down for this. Lift right hand and left foot. You might wobble a little or a lot. Let that wobble happen. And then place both hand and foot down. Left hand lifts. Right foot lifts. You could also have the left fingertips down for a little more stability. Come back to plank, low plank, high plank, and then lower down to the elbows. One elbow down, one elbow up. Lower down, and I'm alternating sides here. There's no specific number. You're just lowering and lifting in these plank push-ups. I like to keep the hands spread and alive. Keep breathing. Downward facing dog. Press hips up and back. And then from downward facing dog, walk your feet forward. Come into Padangusthasana, halfway lift, wiggle the hips out, and on your exhale, fold forward and reach the elbows to the sides of the room. Keep the gut extended and long here. And then take 2 blocks. I'm going to position the blocks to the right slightly, lift the left knee up. You can also tent the hand down on the ground and place the left hand on the outer part of the left knee. Lower the knee and then lift the knee. 1, 2, 3. Shift weight back into the right heel. 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Both feet down. Place hands on thighs. Use the hands to stand up. You can position the blocks just before you go. And then from standing, reach the arms out to the sides of the room. Shift weight into the right leg. Shift weight back into the right heel. My left big toe is on the ground. And then begin to twist the belly over to the left leg. Lift the left knee up. And then begin kicking. 1, 2, 3. Keep reaching knees apart. 4, 5, 6, and then lower. And then one last piece of this series. It's a 3-part series. This is part 3. Lift the left knee up. You can either tap the knee onto the calf or the Achilles heel. So this is one modification. Another modification is to reach the left hand back for the left ankle, and this sugar cane type deal. And then we're going to lift up, open up, and then tap the Achilles heel if we can with the left knee. And then lower and lift. And you'll notice that I'm turning the belly up to the left. Shouldn't be any pain or any sensitivity on either the hip or the knee on that side. Shift weight back into the right heel. And then hands on thighs. Stand all the way up. Just take a little walk. So walk to the back of your mat. You can take a walk around the room, shake it out. And then we'll get the second side in. But first, let's do a squat. Shift weight back into the heels. And now you can take a block. This is one way of practicing this, is to sit on the block, bringing my heels a little closer together, and then lean forward, reach the arms forward, and play with lifting your sits bones, your butt, up off of the block, and then lowering back down. Now, another version is to take the block out and then play with lowering very slowly and then lifting the hips back up. There might be a little bit of a movement forward with the whole body and the arms. My intention here is to use the engagement of the feet to start to help to lift the body. And then fold forward. Let's get the second side in. Shift the weight over into the left hand. Place the right hand on the outer part of the knee and then lower and lift. 1, 2, 3. Shift weight back into the left heel. 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Both feet down. Place hands on thighs, stand all the way up. So here's the standing position. Weight shifts into left heel, back into left heel. Turn the belly to the right, and then reach the knee up, and then kick the leg. It's a very light kicking action. And as you do this, reach the knees away from one another, and you may feel the left hip, the fan of the hip, start to activate and engage. And then to wrap everything up, we will get the right side in. So right knee up. I can have both hands on the block. So here's just 2 rounds of the modification. And then the other option is to hold right hand, holds right ankle. Shift weight back into the left heel and then tap down. My knee can gently tap the Achilles heel on the left foot. And we're lowering and lifting. Lowering and lifting. Be mindful that you're not gripping with the left toes. The weight in the heel will adjust for that. And then both feet on the ground. Move the blocks off to the side. And walk your feet off of the mat. Take a forward fold and begin to shift the hips left and right. Keep the belly long, and as you shift, turn the barrel of the chest right and left. Stand back up. And now we're moving into our peak series. Placing stack of 3 blocks against the wall. And first I'm going to take my handstand on the wall. So my fingertips, my index finger, middle finger, are either touching the wall or about 1 inch or 2 inches away from the wall. And from here, we're so close to the wall that we have a pretty authentic Tadasana, upside down. And I'm staying symmetrical, and I can stay here and then lower down slowly. Now, you may stay with that variation, symmetrical. You can swing the arms. Another version is we're going to start to send more weight into one arm. So I'm using the block stack under my left palm. This could also be done with 2 or maybe even 1 blocks. And you'll notice this arrangement forces you to place more weight into the right hand. Legs together. You'll hold for a few breaths. Shift the block stack over. Swing the arms in between. So get the energy moving in the lines of the arms again. And then we have second side. Right hand on block stack. Left hand on the ground. And when you're ready, kick up. Legs together. And then energetically reach the heels up skyward and then come out. So one thing you might do is also pause the video at this point and practice that on your own without my voice in the background so you can focus. And then I come into downward facing dog against the wall and begin to just sway the hips a little bit here. Shake it out. Tap the knees down. And then I'm in my downward facing dog using the block stack once again. And I'm not as much emphasizing a pressing through the right hand. It's just there so that I can start to have stability. Whatever hand is on the ground, this case the right hand, that is the arm that we're really interested in developing some raw strength in. And as I'm here, I can sway a little bit. This mimics the action of supporting your body in space upside down. Some of the stabilizing movements. And then from here we come into seated on a block. I'm going to be in this half horseshoe type pose. So left leg is in toward the block. My heel can be against the block. And rather than turning the toes out to the right, I'm pointing the toes of my right foot straight up to sky, and then taking that decompression on the right wrist. So right wrist holds the ankle, not the fingers. And you'll notice that I'm twisting and untwisting here. Left hand is on inner thigh. And as you twist and untwist, you can take the deep breath in as you turn the belly up and reach the knees apart. Now you might stay there the entire series, or hips come down off of the block. And from here, we're going to do a little bit of a core stability. So I can place a block underneath my left knee. I can also place blocks under my hands, and I might be lifting and reaching the right foot forward from here. So that's a total option. Or I'm going to use blocks, and I'm going to bring the left tricep underneath the left leg, and then I press down and lift up. 1, 2, 3, reaching right heel forward. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now, if the right foot doesn't lift, another option here is to place a blanket underneath the right heel so it slides forward. So I come back into this position, decompressing the right wrist. Left hand is on inner thigh. Now my knees start to spread out wider, and you'll notice that torso face to the left a little bit more. And I twist and untwist. Feel for right heel reaching away from right hip, and the hips floating back away from right heel. So there's a very intentional line of energy in the right leg. If it works for you to bring the left hand around to hold the foot, then you have a twisting, untwisting, and you can start to peek through the window of the arms. We're taking it one step farther forward. Right elbow can be on the inside of the leg. And if the elbow doesn't reach the ground, you can also place a block underneath the right elbow. Be twisting and untwisting here. Now, as you twist the belly up, very energetically reach the knees away from one another in opposite directions. And then one last variation. We're adding a lot in here. So if one version doesn't work, you can take a step back and do the previous version. Now I have my left ankle behind the left hip, and there is even an option to float the hips up. So as I turn my heart up, hips might float. Very slowly come out. And then take a block, slide the block under the hips. And we'll move into second side. And you'll notice that I start with a pretty deep bend in my left knee. So for some of you, this might be the pose for the entire series. And the progression here is to see, can you reach the left heel, slide the left heel forward slightly away from left hip. If you want to move to the next stage, you'll slide the block out. But first we'll do a little bit of core work here to engage transverse abdominis. So again, you can place a block underneath the knee and do that series, or slide the right tricep underneath the knee, hands on blocks, and then we lift 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Reach the heel forward. And come on out. And then move into a variation of Janu Shirshasana. And from here we twist and untwist. And you'll notice again that it's my left wrist, not the fingertips, that are supporting and holding the outer blade edge of the foot. So as I turn the belly up, knees can reach in opposite directions. You have the option to reach the right hand onto the foot to assist with the action, twisting and untwisting. And then place the elbow, left elbow down. And the connection of elbow to the ground can be another assist in the twist. And then you can slide the right shin behind the leg. Be mindful that the right knee is closed. There should be no pressure in the knee here. And I did it on the last side. I might not do it on this side, but you could also lift the hip up as you do this. So left hip, in this case, will hover and float off of the ground. And then slowly come out of the pose. Come up to the knees and just swing the arms. And then place the hands down. Again, we're positioning the index fingers to touch the wall if possible, and then move up into handstand, and then shift weight over into the right hand. And then from here, I'm going to start to twist my pelvis to my left. If you can tent the hand of the left hand, maybe you can even float the hand or come up to the very tippy finger. And then come back to center and shift weight over into the left hand. Tent the right hand or float the right hand off of the ground. And at the same time, you'll notice that the hips, the pelvis start to twist to the right. Come back to center and then just take a few moments here to windshield wiper the legs, the pelvis, even the torso can start to sway side to side with feet flat on the wall. My legs are touching the wall the whole time. And then come down. And then lie down onto the back. Take 2 blocks. Lift the hips up, slide the blocks underneath the hips. And for this first reference pose from the back, bring the knees into the chest, reach the arms above the head. As soon as arms go above the head, you'll notice that pressure releases from the area of the heart. And then from here, hold the right hand on the inner arch of the right foot, right knee and right big toe come down to the ground. Float the left leg out, and I'm going to tap the left heel down. My action here is to reach the left heel to the left, root the left heel down, and reach it forward. So I'll do that again. Left heel reaches left, left heel presses down, left heel reaches out and away from left hip. And then I'll do it one last time. Heel reaches out left, presses down, float the left leg. See if you can even get the left leg longer, and inhale, lift the heart up. Come back to center. So I reposition my hips. And then from here, left hand holds left foot, right leg extends, right foot goes out to the right, right heel reaches down, and right heel slides out away from the right hip. And I'm also, again, floating my heart up toward my face. So heel reaches out, heel reaches down, heel reaches forward. And then we'll do it one last time. Heel reaches out, right heel presses, and then reaches away from right hip. Come back to center. Reposition the hips. And this time, place elbows down. And I'm going to twist to the left. Now you'll notice right leg is over top of left leg. Right leg is bent, left leg is straight. You might even have to reposition your hips slightly to the right on the blocks so you don't fall off. And from here, I'm twisting and untwisting with the assist of my left forearm on my right upper leg. And then we come back to center, lift right leg up, lift left leg up. Slide the hips over to the left. And then take that neutral reference pose with knees into the chest. And then legs up to sky. I'm going to take eagle legs. Right leg is straight. Left leg wraps over the right leg. And then bring the right big toe down to the ground. So it's a complex, kind of awkward position. But this will add in a certain force to open up the tighter connective tissue in and around the spine and the low back. So you'll notice again, I'm twisting and untwisting. And I have that right forearm and right hand assisting on the left thigh. Come back to center. Reposition the hips. Reach the arms above the head. Set up for bridge pose. And from here, the feet might be a little bit wider than normal. Just a tiny bit. Hips float up about 3 inches from the blocks. And then I'm going to reach heels apart. Feel your sits bones move away from one another. And then suddenly I'm going to lift the hips up. Reach heels apart. Float sits bones away from one another. And then again, I'm going to lift the hips up. Heels apart. So that action continues. Sits bones float apart. One more time. Hips up. And then very slowly lower hips down. Slide the blocks out. Hips on the ground. And then from here, bring your heels apart, knees together, and very gently press the heels of the hands on the upper thighs to traction the back. And then let the legs go long into Shavasana. Arms can peel away from the sides. Have the feet be as wide as the mat. And right away, feel for right heel floating away from right hip, and the skull floating away from the right heel. Notice the whole right side getting longer. And then feel left heel floating away from left hip. And the skull floating away from the left heel. Left side gets longer, gets more supple, gets more aware. And now as you notice the whole structure of the bones, begin to slide your heels underneath you. Roll over to one side. Place your hands down to sit up. Slide a block under the hips. Come back to Siddhasana. And from here, raise right arm up, turn the heart to the left, and just feel for any differences energetically in the right arm as you coil the arm. Turning the palm up, turning the palm down, even spreading the skin on the hand. And then lift the left arm up, turn the heart to the right, lean the head to the right, and feel the connection from tips of fingers all the way through to right shoulder, right hip. And then place both hands on the thighs. As you inhale, reach the arms up to sky. Full breath in. Go slow. Interlace the hands. Turn the palms up. As you exhale, place hands slowly down. Palms can meet the thighs. And then we'll do that again. Reach up. Inhale. Full breath in. Lift the heart. Interlace hands. And then release, exhale. Hands come back down to the thighs. And then one last time, reach up, inhale, full deep breath. Make it a supple breath. Hands to heart. Lift your thumbs to your forehead. Take a deep, fresh breath in. Namaste.